Welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah and today we're going to do a Friday Reads and I actually have some things to talk about today. We've got a stack, so let's get started. We're going to start by throwing it in the floor evidently. The first of which is I am now again caught up on The Ancient Magus's Bride. This is volume 21. I am not going to rehash this series again and again and again. The short version is this is about Chise and Elias. Chise is this redhead here. Elias is this creature here. Chise is a special kind of individual who can channel magic in a very strong way, and Elias is a mage. They become entangled in a way, and this is their lives together and what they get caught up in. Right now, this is the third arc that they have got going on. And at this point we are dealing with dragons and possible political world shaking upheavals. So there's a lot going on in this series and it's fantastic. It's both cozy, slice of life, but also a fantastic fantasy manga series that I really recommend if that sort of thing appeals to you. The first arc is really cozy and slice of lifey. At least for me, I loved it. And the second arc has a more school setting, and this one is getting more, I think, political. We've got a lot bigger, broad base of characters that we're seeing and we're pulling from, and it's shaping up to be very interesting. I cannot wait to read more. I continue to pre-order these. These are ones that I get as soon as they come out. So yes, Ancient Magus Bride is a series I highly recommend. Now, the one thing I don't have that I finished was I read the first volume of Dragon Ball by Akira Toriyama. I have in the past at some point read this. I believe it was when I was a teenager or a young adult. I think I might have read it when I got one of my first jobs was working in a Walden Books in the mall. If that doesn't date me, I don't know what does. That I don't think that company is even around still. But I might have read it while I worked there. I cannot tell you for sure. But this is the first book, the first volume in what kicked off Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super, whatever it is at now. I think it's at Super right now. And it is absolutely bonkers to me that this pervy humor retelling of Journey to the West is what kicked off Dragon Ball Z. It's wild to me. I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z on Toonami after school. It was my favorite show. I loved Dragon Ball Z growing up. So I was watching reels or something. My husband sent me one of a recent fight scene. Goku, Super Saiyan, whatever we're at now. I'm not keeping up with it. He's got light blue teal hair. Actually, I don't even think he's Goku. I think it was Gogeta. Look, I don't know. It was a big fight scene, and I think it was Brawly he was fighting, and it was with realistic sound effects, and I was I need to revisit Dragon Ball Z. So I am reading through these now. I'm supposed to be reading it with my husband and one of our best friends. They're behind because of course I am always somehow ahead of things. So I am probably jumping into volume 2 soon, but I have finished volume 1 and it's ridiculous. It's very pervy things. This is 1980s Akira Toriyama pervy humor. So don't go in expecting it to be, not that. But I love it. I think it's funny. I think it's ridiculous. It's very nostalgic again because I had read it in the past. I just do not remember when. And yeah, it's a good series. I will be continuing. Now, for the books that I've read, let's talk about the two books from publishers. So I finished the physical arc I have of Apprehension and Red Star Hustle. I can't even show it to you right. Red Star Hustle, there it is. So this is probably my least favorite saga double that they have released. This is a half good for me. Apprehension is fantastic. I absolutely love this. I knew I would. I love Mary Robinette Kowal. I really like her work. She always focuses on female characters, but they're always nuanced and different in some way. In Apprehension, we're following Bonnie Jean, who is a veteran of an interstellar war. She is visiting a planet that she once fought on and she was once held as a POW on with her her son-in-law and her grandson after the death of her daughter. And they get caught up in an assassination attempt on the planet. She is unwilling. She doesn't want anything to do with it, but she gets caught up in it. And it is them trying to stop that and save her grandson. I absolutely loved it. The last couple of chapters got me teary-eyed. impressive. I really enjoyed it. But Red Star Hustle did not hit me in nearly the same way. I had the opposite reaction in that halfway through it, I was like, please God, can this be over now? It was not fun for me. It is about a sex worker who is framed for the murder of his client, and then he gets caught up with, through plot magic that doesn't make a ton of sense when you really look at it, he gets caught up with these super powerful people, and they all have these big, like, anime, huge, inspired fights, and they all have family drama that you're working through, and, like, this is a really short story, and then in the end, even he's got super powerful powers, and it's like, the problem I think I had with it was we introduced so much so quickly, so rapidly, that I didn't have time to connect to the characters or to really understand what was happening and how it impacted them on an emotional level. Whereas with Apprehension, the ending scenes in that, the whole story, Bonnie Jean was like fighting against a thing that was going to lead up to that. She didn't want to do it and it had to be done. And in the end, you're like, oh my God. But in Red Star Hustle, we don't have any of that buildup because there's so many explosions going on so all over the place. It's just like, okay. And it didn't feel nearly as organic or natural. So it didn't work for me, but Apprehension was fantastic. So I don't know how to recommend this. I don't want to say go buy it for half of it. So I don't know. But I do think Apprehension, if you like Mary Robinette Kowal, you should read Apprehension. Maybe through the library or check it out on Kindle, something like that. It was really good. The other one from the publisher I read was Daedalus. I didn't look it up because that's who I am. Is Dead by Seamus Sullivan. I thought about this one for a long time after it was over. So there are 5-star books for me that are vibes, that are just like, I had a blast. This isn't a perfect story, but I just really enjoyed this so much, I can't help but give it 5 stars. And then there are 5-star books like this that also aren't perfect, but I think there is so much here that it's hard for me to see it all, and consequently, I think about it, and it dwells, and it lives in my brain rent-free, and I have to give it a 5-star for that. That is what this is. This is following Daedalus, I am going to say this wrong, his life after Icarus falls. He is the father of Icarus, and they are trying to escape from, I believe it was the god Minos. They fly, Icarus goes too close to the sun, and he falls into the ocean, he dies. So this is his life after that death. We follow him through his life afterwards and down into the underworld where the bulk of this takes place. It's told from there, and then flashbacks as he builds the labyrinth that the Minotaur was trapped in. And we see the story of his life both through his eyes, and then we start to see it through the truth. And we get this idea of like the unreliable narrator and wanting to see only the best in yourself, and how even if you do not think you have an ego, you do. It was absolutely fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating, especially in the end we started getting these twists on what we were being told that weren't the truth, but it was very good. I do recommend this if you like retellings, even if you don't like Greek retellings. I don't, but this one was good. This one really hit, and I really recommend it. I also, like 5 days later, I was thinking about this book again, and there is this, how do I say this? The story is told from his perspective, right? So we are seeing things as he sees them, and his blindness to the injustice and the danger that women face is something that is kind of woven into the back of this, and it was so good. It really, again, it makes you think, and I really enjoyed it. So I recommend this. If you want something like that, give this a shot. It's also extremely well written, and there is so much packed in to such a short novella. It's incredibly impressive. I will most likely be picking up more from this author when he releases more. I think that was a debut. So yeah, fascinating. Absolutely interesting. Really liked it. Then of course I went total left direction into an area I don't normally read. It's dark. This isn't dark romance. This is just dark something. Romantasy? Is this romantasy? What is this? Paranormal. Hey, there it is. It's paranormal romance. This is called Blackthorn by J.T. Gessinger. I don't know anything about the author. I know she's kind of popular, but I don't know anything else about her. What got me were these sprayed pages. Let me see if it'll focus. I saw them at Target and I sent a picture to my husband and said, remind me to download a sample of that to read it. And I did. And I was like, oh, this is kind of like compulsively readable. And a lot of these like straight off KU types are. This was really fun. I enjoyed it. I don't know that I can recommend it, but I enjoyed it. The last 40% of this is a trip. I was like, what is happening? It felt like we were on acid. It went, I don't know. I still don't know what I think happened in the end. I still am unsure. Is it all to be explained away by, natural occurrences messing with people? Or is it truly supernatural? Who freaking knows at this point? But it was a trip. It was really fun. I finished it going, what happened in this? And that's fun for me. So if you want something like that, super easy, bingeable, give Blackthorn a try. I don't know what to tell you. That's what it is. I needed something quick, easy, and fun. That's what I picked up. And the final thing, let me double check myself. Hold on, let me get my journal here. I think I just finished one other thing. Yes, the final other thing to talk about is, I finished this morning, Network Effect by Martha Wells. Oh my god. I thought I loved this series. I didn't realize how much more I could love this series. So, Network Effect is the fifth. It's the fifth because we're out of order. This is the fifth Murderbot Diaries book. This is the first full-length novel in the series. It's really good. It's really good. So this one has, I'm going to try to explain this without some spoilers. Murderbot gets captured by another ship that has been taken over by, so let's call them targets, because that's what Murderbot calls them throughout the rest of the novel. Another group we'll call Target Group. He is trying to protect himself and the humans that get caught up with them. Now, this also has the reappearance of Art, Asshole Research Transport. Asshole Research, yes, I said that right. Who is a character that we see in, I believe it is maybe book 2 or 3. And though these two, the dynamic between Art and Murderbot, it's just the funniest thing I have ever read in my life. I genuinely think it might be. I was cackling. I had all of the emotions. I was upset. I was happy. I was laughing. I was almost crying. Like, everything happened in this book. All of it. All of the emotions were had. The old Tumblr meme, I'm in a glass case of emotions. That was me reading this book. The ending of this, whoa. We get more of the humans. We get to meet a new human who's closely related to some of our other humans. We come to love her, of course. And we get more of the world. We get to see more of like the corporate rim and how the corporate is really messing with people, and just 100%. If you're still reading this series and you perhaps skipped this one, or you have gotten to this one and you're intimidated, or you just don't know if you want to pick it up, I 100%, 1000% beg of you to read this. I beg you to read this. Now, the only one I have left is System Collapse, and it is the only one I don't own physically. So I am going to be waiting till next week to pick up a physical copy, and then I'm going to read that, and I'll be all caught up on the Murderbot Diaries, which I am reading with my best friend, and then we'll probably move on to another series. And just FYI for all my friends, there is another Murderbot coming out next year, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm maybe going to try and beg Tor to let me have an e-arc at the very least of that, so we'll see what happens. So that is everything that I have read in this past week. Actually, that's reading done. It's been a bit hectic, but not nearly as bad as last week. Now, as to what I am currently reading, I am still listening to the third Battle Mage Farmer. It's down here. I'm still working on that. I haven't made any progress in that. I might actually just pick that up on Kindle at some point and plow through it. And I have 2 somewhat cozy reads going on. We went to my local not my local used bookstore. It's just a bookstore that has used books, but also new books. I went to our local bookstore, our little indie bookstore, and bought some more books again. We tried out a new Thai place and went to the bookstore with some friends, and I got The Most Unusual Haunting of Edgar Lovejoy, which is very cute so far. It's supposed to be somewhat cozy. It's got a little bit of a cozy vibe, like in a romance way, but it's not hitting quite perfectly, but I am having fun. So hopefully once I sit down a couple of times and read through it, I should be able to finish it quickly. I'm not very far, but it does read quickly. And that's by Roan Parrish, who I have read before. The other book that I'm reading is an e-arc, How to Lose a Goblin in 10 Days by Jessie Silva. This is an opposites attract romance set in a cozy fantasy world. This is about a halfling and a goblin who get trapped in a cabin together. And this is very cozy. This is like, think of that game, like The Shire. Picture The Shire from Lord of the Rings and add in a few more other fantasy types, like some goblins that are, not evil, the good goblin types. And lots of green and plants and like cooking and just very relaxing stuff. The cover, if you look up the cover, the color of the cover very much sums up the way it feels in my brain, right? Like it's super cozy. So I'm enjoying this. It should be a quick read. This comes out in January from Orbit. So I'll report back on this very soon. And I believe that is everything that I am currently reading and have read. Now I did get a couple of arcs. I haven't updated you guys on the arc situation in a while, so let me boot my Kindle up and we'll look at what I have. I got a couple from Daw, who I really enjoy. I just don't review their stuff as much as I should. I got Ode to the Half Broken by Suzanne Palmer, which I believe is one of those apocalypse has happened or this war between mankind and robots has happened and we're following a robot who is grappling with what they did. The Cyprin by Mercedes Lackey. Cyprin, I think I said that right, which is another one of her Masters of Magic novels. I love Mercedes Lackey. Let's see, what else have we got? Oh, I also did start Slow Gods by Claire North, which I think is already out in the States and just came out in the UK this week. So if you have not seen that, if you like Claire North, you might want to look at that. It is, I'm not entirely sure what the plot on that one is yet. I can't quite remember, but I do have it. I have started it. It will probably be my next one that I read through once I finish How to Lose a Goblin. I have In Trees by Robert Moore, which I believe is a nonfiction. I could be wrong. I got an email on that one, so I didn't look super close at it. I have Ain't Nobody's Fool by Martha Ackman and The Poet Empress by Shen Tao. Both of those are interesting. I believe I got at least one of, I think both of these, no. Yes? I was going to say I think they're both from Tor, but I don't actually think they are. I'll list them down below as always. And I believe that is the only... I don't know if I mentioned I got Morsel by Carter Keene and For Human Use by Sarah Pierce, which are, I believe, both horror. I have been reading a lot of horror. I don't know why, but here we are. So I guess look forward to some more humor from... Humor? Horror from me. Humor? No. Horror? Yes. But that is it. That's everything I have read, currently reading, and I have gotten as far as e-arcs. Let me know what you guys have been reading, what you think. Please tell me if you've read Murderbot. If you haven't and you are interested, I, again, 1000% say try it out. The first one's super short. It's a fantastic series. And the first one is actually the low point of the whole series. It just keeps getting better. It just keeps getting better. But that is it. That's everything for me today. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys again next week. Bye.